Ever had that stomach-dropping moment after a fender bender where your mind just screams, now what?
Oh, yeah.
It's like suddenly being dropped into this bureaucratic jungle,
Yeah.
trying to find your way through insurance forms and phone calls, all while you're still shaking from the impact.
Absolutely. For many people, especially somewhere like Aurora, Colorado, dealing with a car accident claim often feels, well, overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
It can lead to delays, confusion, or even, outright denied claims simply because the whole process isn't very clear or inviting.
And that's exactly why we're here today. We're taking a deep dive into effectively filing an insurance claim after a car accident, using insights tailored specifically for Aurora.
Right.
Our mission is basically to cut through that complexity, equip you with clear, actionable steps, and hopefully turn that initial panic into a sense of control.
Yeah, give you a roadmap.
Exactly. I think of this as your essential guide, making sure you know exactly what to do from the very first moment an accident disrupts your day. Okay, let's unpack this. The immediate aftermath of an accident is just chaotic. Once that initial shock maybe starts to subside and you've taken a breath, what's the absolute non-negotiable priority?
Safety, always. First and foremost, check on yourself and everyone else involved.
Okay.
If there's any suspicion of injury, even if it seems minor, call 911 immediately.
Right. Don't wait.
No, even if injuries aren't obvious right away, you need professionals to assess the situation. For everyone's well-being, your health and the health of others, it just trumps everything else.
Okay.
Only once safety's under control and, you're able to safely move around, that's when you kind of shift gears into detective mode to gather those crucial details for your claim.
Detective mode. I like that.
Yeah.
So beyond checking on everyone, what should you, our listener, be like frantically scribbling down or snapping photos of right there?
Yeah.
What's often overlooked in that stressful moment that becomes really crucial evidence later?
Think of yourself as documenting a scene, almost like for a court case, you really can't have too much information.
Yeah.
There's a simple but absolutely essential list. First, get the names and contact info for all drivers involved.
All of them.
All of them. Their driver's license numbers, their license plate numbers, don't forget their insurance details, the company name, policy number.
Right.
But don't stop there. Photos are like your silent witnesses. Capture everything.
Everything like what?
All cars involved from multiple angles, showing all the damage. Get wide shots of the overall scene, the road conditions, any relevant traffic signs like stop signs or speed limits, even debris on the road.
Wow.
The more visual evidence, the better. And if there are any bystanders, politely ask for their names and contact details. Their unbiased account can be invaluable.
Good point. Witnesses.
Yeah. And finally, if officers responded, get a copy of the police report right then if you can, or at the very least get the report number. That official record is a cornerstone of your claim.
That's a lot to juggle when your adrenaline is pumping, though.
It is.
But here's where a seemingly simple mistake can have huge repercussions. What's one crucial pitfall to avoid in those moments, specifically about what you say?
This is critical. And it connects directly to Colorado's unique legal landscape. Whatever you do, do not admit fault.
Okay, don't say sorry.
Even if you feel like you played a role or you just want to be polite, don't say it. Colorado operates under a modified comparative fault rule, and it's a potential game changer for how much compensation you might receive.
Okay, modified comparative fault. That sounds like serious legal jargon. Can you break that down for us? What does that actually mean for someone in an accident in Aurora?
It's really important to understand because it directly impacts your wallet. Basically, it means if you're found partly responsible for the accident, your total compensation gets reduced by your percentage of fault.
Okay, like an example.
Sure. If your damages total, say, $10,000, but you're found 10% at fault, you'd only receive $9,000.
Right.
But here's the crucial part. If you are deemed 50% or more at fault, you could receive nothing at all. Zero.
Wow. Okay.
That's why admitting fault, even just casually saying, oh, I'm so sorry, can absolutely be used against you by an insurance company.
It's not about being rude.
Not at all. It's about protecting your rights and your potential recovery. Stick to the absolute facts. Let the investigators, the police, the insurance companies figure out fault later.
That's incredibly insightful. I can see the temptation to just apologize, especially if you feel partly responsible. So strictly sticking to the facts, that's the key takeaway. And a practical tip I've seen mentioned is keeping all this stuff you've collected, photos, notes, numbers, in one organized folder, whether it's paper or digital.
Yes, essentially.
That initial organization makes a world of difference later on, I bet.
Absolutely.
So you've left the scene, Everyone's safe, hopefully, and you've gathered your initial info. The adrenaline might still be high. What's the very next step to, get the ball rolling?
The very next step is call your insurance company.
Right away.
Pretty quickly, yes.
Mhm.
This isn't just a suggestion. It's usually a requirement in your policy. In Colorado, most policies expect you to report an accident within a reasonable amount of time.
Reasonable. That sounds vague.
It is a bit vague, but for most people, it really means within a few days, certainly no more than a week. But it's always smart to actually check your specific policy document because some might have stricter deadlines.
And delaying could cause problems.
It can, yeah. Delaying can sometimes complicate your claim or, in worst-case scenarios, even lead to a denial.
Okay, so when you make that call, what information should you have, like right at your fingertips, ready to go?
Be prepared with a clear, concise summary. You'll need the exact time and place of the accident,
Mm-hmm.
the contact and insurance info of the other driver or drivers, and just a short, factual account of how the accident happened.
Factual again?
Yes. Again, no guessing, no blaming, just the objective details as you know them. Confirm whether police responded and if you have that report number. Also, it helps to note any conversations you had with others involved, or maybe their insurers, right at the scene. This initial call, remember, it's about opening the claim, not making some final binding statement.
Gotcha. Beyond the, bent metal and broken headlights, one critical piece of advice that seems easy to overlook is reporting any injuries, even if they seem really minor at the time. Why is that so crucial?
Ah, yes. This brings up an important point about causation.
Causation.
Yeah. Injuries, especially things like whiplash or maybe even a mild concussion, they don't always show up fully right away.
Right, you might feel okay initially.
Exactly. You might feel a bit stiff or sore, only for significant pain or symptoms to develop days or even weeks later.
Mhm.
If you don't mention any potential injury to your insurer early on, they might later argue that your delayed symptoms weren't actually caused by this accident, but maybe by something else entirely.
Ah, I see.
Yeah.
They could dispute it.
Precisely. So reporting any discomfort, even seemingly minor soreness, right from the start creates a clear timeline. It helps you avoid fights about causation later if medical bills pile up or you miss work. It strengthens the link between the crash and your injuries.
Okay, that makes sense. Given all this meticulous documentation needed and the potential for these complex medical issues to pop up later, it really sounds like this whole process can quickly become a lot.
It absolutely can.
Is this typically the point where people start thinking, maybe I need some help with this? Like considering professional legal guidance?
Absolutely. Even at this early stage, yeah. Many people start to realize just how intricate claims can be. The source material we looked at does suggest that, you don't have to navigate this alone.
Right.
It's often when you're reporting those potential injuries or maybe starting to get questions from insurance adjusters that the idea of getting some legal advice really comes into focus for people.
Okay, so after that initial call to your insurer, your job kind of shifts to building what we might call a robust file. Why is this ongoing, meticulous documentation so critical for your claim?
Well, it might seem like a hassle, right? Almost like taking on a second job sometimes.
Yeah.
But documenting every single detail pays off immensely, particularly if any questions or, let's say, gaps arise with your claim down the line. It's really about creating an undeniable, comprehensive record,
Okay.
one that supports your account of what happened and, importantly, your damages. This record becomes both your shield and your sword, so to speak, in negotiations.
So beyond the photos and notes from the scene, what else should definitely be in that super organized folder? What kind of paperwork are we really talking about here?
You need a truly comprehensive collection. First, medical records are absolutely paramount.
Everything.
Everything. If you went to the ER, your primary doctor, any specialists request copies of absolutely everything. Diagnosis, treatment plans, follow-up notes, the works. Then, gather car repair estimates. Get them from a trusted body shop, one that provides detailed pricing reflecting the full scope of the damage.
Not just a quick quote.
No, detailed. Don't forget any police reports you couldn't get at the scene. And, crucially, keep receipts for any accident-related expenses.
Like what?
That could be ride shares if your car's out of commission, rental car costs, towing services, even things like over-the-counter pain medication you bought because of the accident.
Got it.
All your medical bills and any treatment summaries obviously belong there.
Okay.
And if you had to miss work because of your injuries, you need documentation of your lost wages from your employer. That's critical too.
Wow.
Every single piece of paper, every digital file, it just adds another layer of strength to your case.
It's fascinating how this detailed collection isn't just for your own records, but it's really about strengthening your whole case when you present it. It feels like you're building an argument.
That's exactly what you're doing.
And it sounds like another point where maybe having legal assistance could be a wise move.
Exactly. An attorney's experience can just make it much easier to organize all this, categorize it, and present everything needed effectively. They help ensure nothing critical gets missed and that your case is framed in the strongest possible light. They know precisely what evidence is most persuasive to an insurance company.
Okay, so once everything is filed and documented, a key player enters the scene, the insurance adjuster.
Right.
What exactly is their role, and how should someone interact with them to, protect their own interests?
The adjuster is basically your main point of contact at the insurance company. Their job is to investigate the accident, evaluate the damage to your vehicle and any injuries, and ultimately determine what compensation, if any, the company is going to offer.
Okay.
It's really important to remember that while they might sound helpful and friendly,
Yeah.
their primary responsibility is to their employer, the insurance company. And that often means trying to minimize payouts. So how you communicate with them matters a lot.
So given that objective, what are some smart communication strategies for dealing with an adjuster, especially when you're probably still feeling the stress from the accident?
Okay, a few crucial tips to stay on track.
Hmm.
First, answer their questions clearly and concisely.
Short and sweet.
Pretty much. Avoid long emotional explanations, avoid speculating, and absolutely do not admit any fault. Stick strictly to the facts you've meticulously documented. If you're unsure about an answer, it's perfectly okay to say something like, I don't recall that specific detail right now, but it's in my notes and I'll get back to you. Don't guess.
Good tip.
Second, keep detailed notes of all your calls. Date, time, who you spoke with, what was discussed. Save all your emails and messages too. This creates a clear communication record.
Right. Proof.
Exactly. And finally, send in any documents they request as soon as you reasonably can, but always, always keep copies of everything you send. Promptness helps keep things moving, but thoroughness protects you.
Now, the process isn't always just phone calls and emails. I understand adjusters often conduct their own investigations, maybe inspecting vehicles or even the accident location.
Yes, that's pretty standard procedure. You should be cooperative with these investigations, but also remain vigilant.
Vigilant how?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, knowing your rights under Colorado insurance law can really help if disagreements or, discrepancies arise at this stage.
Okay.
Sometimes an adjuster might seem to overlook critical damage or maybe downplay the severity of your injuries. This is definitely a point where having support from a legal team familiar with Aurora claims can make a significant difference.
How so?
They can help you navigate tricky questions, ensure a fair assessment of damages and injuries, and really push back if the adjuster seems to be creating roadblocks. They make sure your claim gets evaluated fairly, not just minimized for the company's bottom line.
This really does sound like a potential minefield for the average person.
It can be.
So, what does this all mean for someone trying to navigate this complex process alone? Why would someone seriously consider bringing in legal assistance, especially thinking about Aurora, Colorado?
It's precisely because insurance policies are, let's face it, dense documents. They're full of intricate rules, strict deadlines, and often very confusing technical language.
Yeah, the fine print.
Exactly. Trying to decipher all that on your own, especially while you're recovering from an accident, is incredibly difficult. Having someone who actually knows what that fine print means, who understands the jargon, can literally prevent you from missing out on compensation you're rightfully owed. They understand the nuances, the loopholes, the requirements that might otherwise just go completely unnoticed by an untrained eye.
So it's not just about managing paperwork then. What are some of the more, let's say, aggressive tactics insurance companies sometimes use? And how does a good personal injury attorney actually fight back against those?
That's a really vital question. Insurers, unfortunately, often employ a few common strategies to reduce payouts. Well, one is the classic lowball initial offer. They offer you something quickly, hoping you'll just take it out of stress or desperation.
Before you even know the full extent of things.
Exactly. Before you fully understand your damages or how long your recovery might take. Another tactic is just dragging their feet, delaying communication, slowing down the processing of your claim, trying to exhaust your patience so you give up or settle cheap.
Yeah.
They might also try to subtly shift blame back onto you, even if it wasn't your fault, to reduce their payout under that Colorado modified comparative fault system we talked about.
Right.
A skilled personal injury attorney, especially one with local experience right there in Aurora, understands these plays. They've seen them before.
Hmm.
They come armed with legal precedents, a deep understanding of Colorado statutes on car crashes, and importantly, the willingness to actually take the case to court if the insurer refuses to be fair.
So they can estimate the real value.
Yes, they can give you an informed idea of what your case might actually be worth based on similar cases they've handled in the area. They force the insurer to take your claim seriously and negotiate in good faith, pushing for fair compensation, not just the path of least resistance for the company.
It really sounds like they handle the heavy lifting and level the playing field.
Precisely. And beyond just fighting those tactics, they help gather any missing documents you might not have access to. They track all those crucial deadlines you could easily miss.
Yeah.
And they aggressively negotiate for better settlements. Ultimately, it means you spend less time buried in forms and stressful phone calls and more time focusing on what really matters, getting your life back together physically and mentally after the accident.
And you mentioned local knowledge.
Yeah, for Aurora specifically, a local attorney will know the local court systems, maybe even the judges, and the tendencies of specific police departments when it comes to accident reports. That kind of local insight can be a subtle but really significant advantage.
An accident and the whole claim process that follows, it can take a significant toll, emotionally and physically.
Definitely.
Once the claim is filed, and maybe even resolved, what's next for you, the individual, beyond just the paperwork and the settlement?
It's absolutely vital to remember that accidents affect more than just cars and bank accounts. You might still be dealing with physical pain, maybe emotional stress, or even anxiety about driving again.
Mm-hmm.
Prioritizing your health and your peace of mind is paramount. This isn't just a passive suggestion, it's an active step towards making a full recovery.
So what does that look like in practice for someone who's been through this?
Well, first, make medical care your ongoing focus. As we discussed, pain and symptoms don't always show up right away, or they might linger longer than you expect.
Right.
So don't skip out on follow-up visits, physical therapy, or any recommended treatments just because some time has passed or the main claim seems settled. Consistent medical attention validates your ongoing experience and helps you heal properly. Additionally, actively try to engage in things that bring comfort and normalcy back into your life. Connect with people you care about. Try to maintain your regular routines as much as possible. Take time to rest and recover properly, and maybe practice some stress-reducing activities.
Yeah.
Even if the whole claim process felt long or frustrating, trying to maintain a positive outlook and focusing on your well-being really helps you move forward completely.
It really sounds like the overall message here is that by knowing your rights, meticulously documenting everything, and crucially, knowing when to ask for expert support, you can transform this really challenging process into something much more manageable,
Exactly.
allowing you to focus on healing, which is the most important part.
Absolutely.
This deep dive has truly shown us that while a car accident in Aurora is certainly overwhelming, no doubt about it, being prepared with clear, actionable steps, that meticulous documentation we keep talking about, and understanding when to seek expert guidance can make all the difference in your recovery. From the immediate scene right there in Aurora to the final settlement check, every step you take matters, and every detail you capture really strengthens your position.
Indeed. Knowing those specific nuances, like Colorado's modified comparative fault rule and that critical 50% threshold,
Right.
or just understanding what a reasonable time frame actually means for reporting to your insurer, it transforms that confusion and anxiety into clarity.
Yeah.
It allows you to approach a really stressful situation with, hopefully, more confidence, rather than just fear or uncertainty.
And that's exactly what we wanted to achieve today. For you, the listener, navigating a car accident claim doesn't have to be this solo, incredibly stressful ordeal. You now have the tools and hopefully the insights to be truly informed and empowered.
So maybe here's a final thought for you to consider. How might having a clear understanding of these kinds of steps, breaking down a complex process, not just simplify a potentially stressful moment like a car accident, but maybe empower you to approach other complex bureaucratic life situations with some newfound confidence and maybe a more strategic mindset?